Hi, this is kind of a bonus video here. Goes out to Rebecca, who thinks I don't have anything better to do than sit around and do homework and make videos for you guys. So Rebecca, here it is. Hey, this one is on systems of equations. Here we have a mouse pushing a piece of cheese with a mass of 6.4 grams. We're going to convert that to kilograms. And a distance of 75 centimeters, which we of course have to convert to meters, over a frictionless surface of an air hockey table. He exerts a force of 0.0005 newtons. And if the cheese starts from rest, in other words, from a zero velocity, what's its final velocity? Well, from the force equals mass times acceleration, we can figure out that the acceleration is 0.078 meters per second, which we're going to go ahead and plug into a velocity time graph as the slope of our line. We also know that the distance traveled, or the displacement, is 0.75 meters. What we don't have is either the velocity, the rise, or the run. So how do we proceed? Well, we're going to use a system of equations. We know that the acceleration is equal to the velocity over time. So acceleration, velocity over time. We also know the displacement here is 1/2 the time times the velocity. So now we have a system where the time in both of these equations and the velocity in both of those equations are equivalent. So we plug in some numbers and we can figure out that the velocity is equal to the acceleration 0.078 times the time. We can then use that to plug in for velocity in our other equation, and we now have gotten rid of one of the two variables, and so now we have 0.75 as 1/2 0.078 t times t. And if we do a little calculation here, that ends up being 0.039 t squared. So we solve for t squared by dividing both sides by 0.039. And we find that t squared is equal to 19.23. And by the way, I'm not even sure what the units are anymore, but that's okay. But when we, it's going to be t squared. Sorry about that. And then when we divide both, or we take the square root of both sides, we can now find that the time is 4.4 seconds. Okay, now that we have the time, we can go back and plug that into our equation for slope, and we could then figure out that the velocity. So if our slope goes from 0, we can figure out our rise, which is our slope. Velocity over 4.4 is equal to 0.78. So we're going to 0.078. So we're going to multiply both sides by 4.4, and we find that the velocity is 0.34 meters per second. So simply you're going to use this for one of the problems on the exam. So you might want to review this whole idea of using a system of equations. That's it.